Hi, everybody. My name is Shawn Shaler. This is my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. We have two very exciting episodes, or maybe not. I don't know. You have to watch and find out. Two exciting episodes to talk about today from Avatar The Last Airbender. We are in Book 2 Earth, and we are over halfway done with Book 2 Earth. That means we're over halfway done with the series, which means at some point in the near future, I'm going to have to watch that stupid movie because I keep promising Chris I'll do it after Season 2. It's going to happen. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's going to happen. But before we get to all that nonsense, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing fairly good. Nothing else to really add on to that.
I suppose it's not like if it was bad news, you would add it on. So I suppose that's good. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No news is good news in this case.
Mhm.
Well, you do have some news. You have some recent videos up on the YouTube.
Yeah, my most recent one is Avatar related. It's a Avatar theory on if the Avatar can fly, which I think that question is answered because in Crossroads of Destiny, like when Aang lets go of Katara and he opens up his last chakra, like he goes into Avatar state, he is like legit floating, levitating in the air, without bending the elements. So I just explore why that may be, and how the Avatar could fly, and pretty much what the reasons are, and what the applications would be.
I haven't watched that one yet, to be honest. But as long as we're like not being those people that are going to distinguish between like flying and levitating, which I don't want to do, I'm totally in
Yeah,
agreement. I think he can absolutely fly at a bare minimum in the Avatar state, at a minimum. But I'll watch the video. I'll give you my
yeah.
thoughts. I have a feeling
Mm.
I'm going to agree on this one.
Good, because my next video I'm working on, because I sort of, I don't really do a good job of like, oh, we'll catch the next video where I do this, but some parts of this video is going to influence my next video, which will be a Korra versus Aang, breaking that down on who would actually win in a fight that could never happen at all, but people like to
Man,
debate
you
it.
are just going to
So,
anger all the Facebook
mhm.
group fans. You're going to make them all mad, Chris, or half of them at
Yeah,
least. You make
yeah,
half of
at
them
least
mad.
half.
You're, you're gonna make me
Or
mad
maybe I won't.
when you're wrong and you're taking your wrong
Or,
opinions up there on the
or,
YouTube.
or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll surprise myself because we've talked about that before on who we thought would win between the two. We do have different opinions, but when I go into like doing videos, I tend to go in with one mindset, and then through research and everything, more than half the time I come out with a different mindset, come with a different conclusion.
Is it sort of
That's
like
why.
having a? Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's sort of. I was just say that's why I'm the objective geek. I try
It's
to put my own.
I picture it like having your own sports team, where so like you at the Lakers, and so you can see through certain points in history, and you're a fan of Lakers, and you can see why the Lakers are really good. But then when you start diving deeper into the Lakers and what makes them good, you start to uncover some flaws and weaknesses because you're very close to them. And so it's kind of an interesting dichotomy of like, I know why this team is good, but I know enough about them to know why they may be not. That might be a terrible comparison, but I find myself doing that with KU basketball all the time. Of like, I understand why they win games, but I also understand what teams should probably try to do to beat us. And I feel like that's the same way in some of those videos that you're talking about when you start with one mindset and then you dig a little deeper and maybe you change your mind or at least see something different. But
Yeah,
all
it's
hypothetical.
also more like it's also kind of related to like the science fair, doing the scientific method of like our hypothesis, and then the other whatever sets methods are.
There's other steps in there, but all I know is
Yeah,
hypothesis, research,
hypothesis,
theory.
research.
Skip
Yeah,
steps,
something like that.
theory.
Conclusion, next steps,
I bet
something. I don't know. We'll
we've
have to
got
look
some
it up.
grade school science teachers that are so proud of us right
Oh
now.
yeah,
They are
yeah.
listening, I'm sure.
I hope Miss Dean doesn't listen to this, or I hope she does. She's really cool. She's actually a friend of mine on Facebook now.
Nice.
But yeah.
I have a few grade
Anyway,
school friends on Facebook as well, but I doubt they're Avatar fans. But whatever. No, they're. I'll convince them someday.
yeah.
I will. I'm looking forward to that video. I promise I'll watch the flying video, even though I could probably say I agree with that one.
It's a
And
fairly short video too. It's like 4.5 minutes.
Did you also say? Did you mention you were going to go see It this week? Is that a spoiler to say what movies you're going to go see in a given week?
No, it's not spoil. Yeah, I'm going to go see it, and I'll actually get my wife to go see it with me, or we'll go to Endless Shrimp together. Not sure which one.
Is Endless Shrimp at Red Lobster on Fridays?
It's so they do it once a month. Not once a month. They do it one time out of year. You know, it's like a promotion. It usually starts the first Tuesday after Labor Day and goes until like mid-October, somewhere around there. So
Nice.
and I love Endless Shrimp.
You don't strike me. You don't strike me at all as like a horror movie guy. Like you're too level headed to me for that. But I'll be interested to see. I know you've done a couple of. Gosh, I wouldn't even call it like Get Out. I would like a psychological thriller, maybe more than a horror movie. I don't know, but anyway, I'll be interested to see your It video.
Yeah.
I've never read the book or watched any of the movies, but
I didn't either.
I have seen other people review the It movie and the miniseries and all that stuff. So I'll be interested to see your take on it. Hopefully you enjoy it because then it won't feel like a wasted trip to the movies, and that's always exciting. Hey, I made a video. Go watch it. It's probably not that exciting to most people in this crowd, but you should go watch it. But more importantly, in the future, I have dedicated myself to, I'm going to find some of the Avatar video games. Most of them are not great. The Legend of Korra Platinum Games one that we've talked about before on PS4, Xbox One, Steam, and you can't even get it anymore due to licensing issues. Honestly, that might be the best one, sadly. And it's not bad, it's just that's kind of a low bar. But in the future, looking forward to maybe making some videos reviewing some of those individual games. I think there's 3 or 4 on consoles, on some older consoles from Avatar, and it'll be fun to play them and review anyway. So getting some video editing practice up before I take those on. Want to make sure those aren't garbage. Hold true to the high quality the quality standards set by our podcast. And then finally, there was a little, we're going to call it news in quotation marks, maybe more of an interesting tidbit. I'll go ahead and I'll pull that thing up here, that website, about the live action Avatar series. So what do we got here? There was, I'll let you explain it. You'll be able to explain it better than I can, but it sounds like people making pitches or making a bid to do some of the visual effects for the live action series.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what it is. I'm 95% sure what that is. So there's a couple different VFX they've seen, and this information you can get it straight from Instagram. I forget the guy's name exactly, but he is a
yeah. It looks like they've been removed from here, but maybe on actual Instagram if you go to whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah, anyway, he's a martial arts instructor. And also he's a choreographer. He's done some choreography for Luke Cage and a couple other shows. Wow, weren't we just looking at this? They were just removed?
Yeah, anyway. Well, it must have been fairly... I know I saw some of them earlier today, but it's quite possible that they were removed when I pulled this up. Hey, that's kind of a cool picture, though. Looking at Ozai's
so that
throne.
one... Yeah, so they did a couple different scenes. They did one of Ozai's throne room, which is kind of suspect because well, I want to say suspect, but we know we don't really get into that throne room that much. We don't ever see Ozai on that until season 3, and I think they'll still hold to that. But the guy in this, who's on this Instagram, is going to, I won't say apply for the job of Ozai, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Audition for the role of Ozai. I don't think he'll get it, but he says he's going to audition for it. So good luck to him, I guess, although he's not who I would cast in that role. And they also did some things over in to be the Southern Water Tribe. And they also kind of did a scene to where like Katara and Sokka, and they have stand-ins for all these people. These are not the actors. This isn't even the clothes. It's just things to stand in. So that's not how the show's going to look, and those aren't the actors.
That's probably the most interesting part to me is that you do have these stand-ins that themselves, I want to say there was a couple of them that were noted as actors, but literally and that gets me excited. But then I'm not
Yeah, that
familiar
girl.
with this sequence at all, but it was interesting to me. It's like, no, these aren't the actual actors. They just are actual actors that we're just gonna use as like paperweights for a few minutes.
Like that girl has an IMDb. I don't know who she is. I looked her up earlier, but she does have a legit career.
And that surprised me a little bit. You figure if they're going to do something like this, they just pull in some strangers and throw on the clothes and be like, all right, make this Katara affects people.
Yeah,
But I've
yeah,
never, like I said, I'm very unfamiliar with this, so it was very interesting for me to learn, at least in this case, how some of it's working.
yeah. And the scene in the Southern Water Tribe, one bit of they ran through a scene. The one bit of dialogue that I found striking was there was a scene of Katara and Sokka, like on the iceberg or fishing or something very similar. It's reminiscent of the first scene in the series of them two like fishing.
I would assume that's
And
something related to this, maybe,
yeah,
but
yeah. But in this scene that they drew up, that they've practiced to and did the testing for, the scene goes like Katara and Sokka are out and about, and some marauders, whatever it's pronounced, starts to like come at them and attack them. And Katara accidentally waterbends at them. And like this is the first time she's waterbent. And Sokka's like, "You're a waterbender." And that is fairly vastly different from the show.
that's
Because in
like
the show,
100% different from how she figures it out in the show.
yeah, from the show, she's always been a waterbender, like, but she just is terrible at it. But you know what? If that was the case, honestly, I wouldn't mind this change. It just adds a little bit of different change and maybe a little bit of different change in Katara's character that she discovers this new thing about her. Like, not only would she discover this new self in her about herself, but she'll discover Aang, and that would probably entice her even more to go on this journey. It's not
This
only
is
will change
not
her character that much.
it's not why we're talking about it at all, but it's funny you say it's like in my mind she wasn't even discovering it about herself, more as like she was hiding it, like she's been practicing it in secret, and then she like instinctively lets it go at these marauders,
Ah,
and she wasn't playing.
oh, okay.
So I don't know. It's just one of those things that like it's totally pointless to talk about, and yet
Ooh.
I love trying to think about it.
You know what though? Let's talk theory on the
Let's talk
VS
theory about
testing.
something that's probably may or may not be real in the show at all or not.
But I could see story wise that happening, right? Because Katara wanting to hide herself, knowing what happens to waterbenders in the Southern Water Tribe when someone finds out about them, because Fire Nation came down, raided them, wiped them all out, took them out to camps and stuff. And also, Katara's mother was taken from her village because she said that she was the last waterbender of the Southern Water Tribe. Like maybe before, I think his name is Shenron. Shenron,
I
I
have
think
no
is the
idea.
person who killed Katara's mother. Before he comes in there, like Katara's mother tells her, like, don't let anyone know about you. Don't let absolutely anybody know what you can do. So then Katara maybe keeps that secret.
And not even
That's how it could
selfishly for
work.
her, more of like I
Yeah,
can see her being deep enough to or conscientious enough just for the sake of the village, trying to keep a secret. Yeah, and then these marauders
yeah, and
sneak
also
up as
like
instinct.
yeah. So so there's some theory for something that's not going to probably happen.
There's our theory for
But
something that is of itself theoretical.
yeah.
Take that, science
I don't.
teachers.
Other than that, I don't think there was any much other news, but it is, I'm just happy to see, more and more information or just more activity and action around the series.
I think it's
I
fair
think
to
they
say
mentioned
that
that.
any news like this is good news just for excitement and oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's still a ways off, but just that reassuring, oh it's happening, it's coming. It's real. It's
yeah, and I
feeling
read
more real.
somewhere, yeah, and I read somewhere that they, Netflix wants this to be their Game of Thrones. I mean, I've said that before, but I haven't seen it written in any in any article anywhere until recently.
Their Game
Granted,
of
those people might
Thrones
just be,
in the like ticket seller way, not in the lots of lewdness
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're family
Netflix wants
friendly.
this to be their
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
less murder or at least less on screen murder. Maybe more genocide, but less on screen murder.
Let's, as if this is some scientific equation, let's increase the genocide by 20% from Game of Thrones levels,
But
decrease the
decrease
murder
screen
by,
time of murders and genocide. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then just to make some parallel, when the dragons finally show up in the series, which is the best part of the series because they're dragons, and they'll just waylay like an entire Fire Nation village. They'll start taking some artistic liberties with the source material, just like Game of Thrones. It'll be great. It'll be great. Just kidding. That's ludicrous. It's very exciting either way. In any news that's not bad is exciting. And hey,
yeah, that's it. I think for the news, I don't have anything else really.
that's a cool shot. I wish I had that good of green screen lighting in my room here, but
I once thought about getting green screen. And I was like, I
I
like
do.
showing off
I
my
have one, and I even
collection.
have it set up so that it can hang here
Yeah.
behind me. It's just that the lighting is it's so poor in here, and I'm not good at like handyman stuff at all, so I don't have the means to equip.
No, just
Just
get yourself. I use a like a just a lamp from Walmart. You know, just a standing
I've
lamp.
got two lamps here pointed straight at
Uh,
me, and I mean the shadow on the wall's rough. It's not horrible, but I would
okay.
probably need maybe two more lamps, like one on each side behind me, kind of. So we'll see. I need new lights in here regardless. I just can't do it myself. But I have a green screen ready to go, so I don't know what I'd do with it, but it sounds like fun either way. And that's all the news and nonsense and unrelated things or semi-related things I can think of. So without further ado, let's get into the episode, which is, excuse me, it's actually two episodes. And again, like last week, they're not necessarily paired together, so we are going to review them separately. They're not like a continuation one after the other, but they were aired on the same date as a 1 hour special for whatever reason. I'm not actually sure because these two don't really even fit together all that well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on my DVD, I believe it is called The Journey to Ba Sing Se.
Really?
But
On the Blu-ray, it is called The Secrets of the Fire Nation.
yes, and I don't know why that is. I thought The Journey to Ba Sing Se sounded better, so I put that on here. I don't know why. I thought it sounded
I
more
think
accurate. I guess like the Secret
I
of the
think I
Fire.
think it does
What?
because the first part has nothing to do with the secrets of the Fire Nation.
And even the second part doesn't have a ton to do with like
Yeah,
Secrets of the
that's
Fire
not.
Nation.
It's not a secret. They're
No,
just
it's
attacking.
pretty. So I
They're
picked
very
the
they're
Ba Sing
very
Se
obvious in
on
their
purpose.
attack. This is not a sneak attack.
I picked it because it's what I saw, but then everywhere online, like when I was searching it and looking for pictures, and nowhere like recognizes it at all. It's like, did you mean Secrets of the Fire Nation? I was like, no, that'd be a stupid name to call this. Oh, hey, that's the name they call us. Anyway, we're calling it The Journey to Ba Sing Se because I think that sounds way better, but it probably also goes as Secrets of the Fire Nation. What it is episodes 31 and 32 overall. 32, 33, excuse me. And then that's 12 and 13 of Book to Earth, Serpent's Pass, and The Drill. So we're going to start with the Serpent's Pass, which is... Sorry, I just saw those emojis I put by Suki and Jen.
So,
I can't hide my feelings very well, and I'm in control of the PowerPoint. I apologize, Jet fans. Chris, go ahead.
all right.
Walk us through
So
the episode here.
so before we get too deep into the episode, so the episode, I was so confused the first time I watched this episode at the beginning of it because like they're just like frolicking around this this water area and like Aang is swimming and he looks like fairly joyful. Like I thought I was like, did I miss something? Like this doesn't belong here. Because previously on Avatar, Aang was pissed off. Like there was tears and there was anger. There was all these emotions of just sheer outrage. And here he's just like waterbending, making a nice icicle of himself. Katara does a big splash in the water, and they all laugh about it. And then Sokka does bring up like, oh, well, we gotta travel to the Fire Nation. We gotta get maps, and we can't do it on Appa, so we can't. So then that brought things back down to earth. But
Leaving
still, it was
Sokka
still
to
a
spoil a
weird.
good time. God.
Yeah, I still found it to be like a weird Aang being that happy type of deal. I expected him to be emotionless because as we see throughout the rest of this episode that he's scared of being that emotional for what he might do. But to just like go in a complete 180 and be happy, I just thought it was just a weird. It was just weird to me.
Didn't
Anyway,
occur to me till now, but yeah, it does feel a little out of place emotionally. It's
yeah,
like a misstep almost, or out of sequence.
yeah. Anyway, to get to Boxing Say, they need to go through the Serpent's Pass. At least they think they do. They meet some refugees, and they're like, "Oh no, we're just going to take the ferry," and which is the easiest way to do that. And then they,
Fun fact,
yeah,
according to the internet, sorry if you already know this, and I'm like just boring you. This family of refugees is the family that Suko thought about robbing in
yes,
Suko Alone. And I
yeah,
did
that
not know
is.
that until I was looking on the internet for some pictures. But I thought
No,
that was
I
cute,
knew that.
cute tie-in. I had no idea. It was very exciting.
No, it is good. Oh, and we have to say that it's a group of refugees. It is a couple, and the lady is pregnant, so that is very important to the story. And so yeah, so Aang and the team tries to get them onto the ferry, but they can't for some reason.
They lost their
It is
passports or had them
yeah, they
stolen.
yeah, and that came out of nowhere though. Like that's convenient for the plot.
The plot, like,
Um,
it needed them to know about the Serpent's Pass. You know, maybe playing into what you said earlier about the watery splashed around part also, it's almost like they had 5 minutes to fill and they just weren't quite sure how to do it. Because, like, you could have easily gone to the ferry first, saw this refugee couple lose their passports, and then have some crazy old guy with a crazy theory like, you can take the Serpent's Pass if you're brave enough, or something like that. But it's almost
yeah,
like they just had some time to fill. But they
yeah,
had to go to the ferry at some point to move the plot along there.
yeah. Which that stuff at the ferry was interesting, running into trying to get passports and stuff, and Aang seeing pulling the Avatar card again because
Oh
he
yeah,
does
hold
that.
on. Let me click back to that opening picture there. This one
Yes,
here, where he's
just
like,
like
"I'm the
I believe it's like I've
Avatar."
seen 20 avatars today, and
I love this one where it's an Avatar, but he's got a son. I don't
yeah,
know why it cracks me
but
up so much.
so go back to that.
Oh,
So I've
sorry.
watched
Go
this
ahead.
series. I watched the series at least 15 times. Yeah, I've always told myself, what, I'm fine with the lack of black people in the show because the show is very diverse, so I don't have to be in everything. But today I was like, wait a minute. Wait, have I missed this black kid this whole time? Because this kid clearly looks like a different pigmentation than everybody else.
Well, at least
I'm like,
that's
oh,
like true to Air Nomad setup too, right? Like not necessarily biological families as much as I don't know, which are like nurtured families instead. So that's kind of true to the role there, other than the fact that the
yeah.
Avatar, has an Avatar son.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was astonishing because I've never seen a black person in this universe before. Like I've seen, I mean, and he might not be black. He could just be a very dark person.
What
Like,
information we
but
have to go off of, which is this exact scene right here. He looks pretty black to me,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's cool. Way to go, Avatar. Way to keep it diverse.
yeah. I mean, you could say that, you could say now they have pretty much everybody, right? Because I
I think
mean,
so.
I don't know exactly how the Foggy Swamp people, but they clearly have a redneck accent.
Yeah, well, and just in general, it's like even if they don't have an Etherin parallel that's perfect, it's like they just do a good job of representing broad
Yeah,
characters. But yeah, those guys definitely got some hillbilly accents. I know hillbilly accents. Those guys are killing it.
yeah. Anyway, they Toph
Toph
gets
does
them
get
on
them on,
ferry.
yeah.
Yeah, because she has her passport because she's a Beifong and they're very, very rich. And Beifong, you know what? That's really interesting because it goes back to Kyoshi novel, which this isn't a spoiler, but the Beifong show up. They do command really, really high respect and authority to anybody. So that makes sense that even 400 years later, just, her name and her passport can get four people onto a ferry.
I just loved seeing names I recognized other than Kyoshi in that novel. Like that again, that author just does a good job of like hooking you in with just enough real feeling tie-ins without like beating you over the face
Mhm.
with it. And that's just a small example.
Yeah. And then they run into Suki, and there's a nice reunion there with Suki and Sokka, which I think is the best part of this episode.
I can agree with that.
Everything else, I don't think is as good until we get to the probably the last like 3 minutes of the episode. But I really love their dynamic here. So yeah, that's kind of where they're at. So they can't take the serpents, they can't take the ferries because those people lost their passports somehow, even though that's like the most
I think
important thing you
stolen. I
need.
think they said stolen, but yeah, it's like it just
Yeah.
that whole first
Yeah.
5 minutes just feels a little clumsy, I guess we'll say, or fillery maybe. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah. So then on the B plot, Jet is back. You know what? I
Loser.
Jet gets a lot of hate. I like Jet.
Jet does not get a lot. Everybody loves Jet. I'm the
Really?
only person that
You think
hates
every?
Jet.
You sure?
I feel
I'm pretty sure a lot
yeah.
of people
So he
hates
only gets
Jet.
a lot of hate on this podcast. I feel like the rest of the internet loves Jet. I
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask people.
Well, that'd
But
be good. That'll be a good group question. Yeah, I don't know if I have enough Twitter following, but maybe between the two of us, we can throw out a poll and say, "Jet, love, hate?" Question mark. That's it.
yeah,
Just a quick yes or no. And I think
you
you're
know,
gonna be.
well,
I think you would be surprised at the lack of
all right.
people that hate him as much as I do.
What's what's your guess on percentage wise of people who hate Jet?
15.
15, really that low?
Fifteen
Okay, I'm gonna.
percent of this important. 15% of people who would actually take the time to vote on a Twitter poll. That is, in and of itself, a certain group of people, a certain not a demographic, a certain psychographic of people. So 15% of
What if
that
I
group.
did? What if I did a Facebook poll in one of the Facebook groups? Because I feel like there's gonna be more.
Maybe 20. I'll give you 20 on the Facebook group.
So you think 20% of people will say that they hate Jet?
In a yes/no forum,
Yes,
yeah,
just yes, for or
50-50.
against.
Yep, I'll say 20%.
Okay, I'm going to say 40%.
40%,
40% hate Jet.
60-40, 80-20. I'm very
Yeah,
interested. We'll have to do this. We'll throw up a Twitter poll, maybe a few Facebook
yeah.
polls. It'll be fun, or it'll be disappointing. You know what? No, it won't be disappointing because either I'll be right because my percentages will be close, or I'll be validated. Like, oh yeah, other people hate Jet too. I'm being silly. It's fine, and then I'll feel better knowing that people hate
This
Jet.
is a win-win for you, I guess.
It is.
Anyway,
It is.
uh,
It's like betting against your own team. Kind of. You either win money or
yeah,
you win a game.
true. All right, so Jet is on the ferry, right? Yeah, he's on the ferry,
They're already sitting around
and
there.
yep, and he is with ferry. Yeah, he's on a boat, I think, to get onto the ferry into Ba Sing Se. Anyway, yeah, he's on a boat, and he meets up with Zuko and Iroh, and together, um, Jet kind of sees some potential in Zuko, probably because he has a burn on his big old huge scar on his face. He's like, oh, that guy's been done wrong by the Fire Nation. He's somebody he could be a freedom fighter. And Jet's also, it's more to note, Jet has turned around. He's going good. He doesn't want to. He even feel like he wants to atone for his, maybe not atone, but at least not do the
Fresh start. Yeah.
yeah fresh start. Because I don't think he's like, oh, I got to make things right. It's more like, oh, I should just want a fresh start on things. And I think he does have a really good conversation with Iroh about how people can truly change. Also, love the moment where Iroh was like, they're on the boat, and he's like, return to Ba Sing Se, the place of my greatest military failure. Oh, he says, I never thought I'd return to Ba Sing Se, the place of my greatest military failure, as a tourist. Yeah.
He has a couple of good moments here where, like you also mentioned, Jet makes that little speech about people can change, and I feel like I don't remember if he says something or if he just like gives Zuko a look, like, see.
He's definitely, yeah. He says something and he gives Zuko a look like, see, Zuko, we're right, we're on the right path
You're
here.
good. But it's
Yeah,
worth
and
noting that the only reason that Jet's even like over by them is because Zuko is like whining about food or something in like classic Zuko fashion,
yeah,
like whining about whatever scraps they're eating, and then Jet comes over. He's like, "Captain's eating like a king," and
yeah.
that's how they bonded over complaining about food, which I can get on board with because I complain about food constantly. So I'm pro that. Way to go, guys!
Yeah. You know what? And I really like where Zuko's at right now. He's so as a character because he's so like lost. He's so on the fence of I think of being on that right track of turning good. And then, we know what happens eventually, but I just like that Zuko of he is just he's not even tormented right now. He's just like he's contemplating life
I think
right now.
he's very human in the sense that like all let's say like most of us, you can see like the wants to be good, so to speak. Maybe it's not all the way there yet or whatever, but it feels very real, very palpable in the same way that like I think a lot of people genuinely want to be good, even if we struggle to show it all the time, and that's what it feels right here.
Yeah.
Starting to get those vibes.
Yep. And together they go steal some food from the captain at night, and everything goes according to plan. And we'll just finish off Jet and Zuko's story here.
You just as well. It's a smaller,
Yeah,
bitty story.
it is a small story.
Not a bad one, just small.
Yeah. So eventually, Jet tries to get Zuko to join the Freedom Fighters, and Sportnell, the Smeller Bee, is like, "Nah, you don't even know him, Jet." He's like, "I know he didn't get that scar from Waterbender, which, first of all, he could have gotten that scar from Waterbender. Waterbenders can make steam. Why couldn't he just get? Why couldn't a Waterbender put steam on someone's face?
I don't know
That
what a
is very
frostbite scar
plausible."
looks like, but it could have been whatever. Jet, stop jumping to conclusions.
He's most likely got it from a firebender.
So just resisting the urge to say, Jet, you moron.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it because he was right, so whatever.
If he found a lava bender, he could have got it from that, but that probably would have killed him. Like lava touching your face.
How do you contain lava to such a small portion without splattering? Nonetheless, you know how lava splatters.
It would have to just like touch, then come off. Like enough on there. It's just like you're just Two-Face at that.
Well, if you Two-Faced it, man, he would have melted half of that thing for sure. Though he would have looked more like Two-Face, really.
It probably would have melted to the bone. He would be dead.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's not the time for it. Whatever. I already started. I bought the Batman, the Mask of the Phantasm, and Sub-Zero, like duo DVD. It's like $4 on eBay.
Yeah.
For the 2-pack of the DVD, and I couldn't resist because those are both tremendous. I guess made for TV, hour long. I don't know what the right word is.
No, Massive Phantasm was released in theaters.
Oh, I did not know that. But falls officially within the animated series chronology.
Yes. It was originally. Man, we're really sorry. Anyway, it was originally supposed to be like direct to TV or home release. They did like the opening theme of it, which is really good. Like it goes through the city and everything. And then some higher producer was like, "This looks amazing. We should release this." And so they released it over like Christmas in 1994,
Nice.
I think. But during that time, Lion King came out, and Batman Massive Phantasm did not do well in theaters at all, which it's fine. It wasn't made for theaters, so it's like whatever money they made from it probably made up for it.
Yeah. Well, and it's sad because Lion King's like one of my not least favorite, it's one of the most overrated Disney movies in my opinion. So it makes me a little sad to see it beating out Mask of the Phantasm. I know far less about Sub-Zero, other than I think it's an hour long. I don't know. There again, I don't know if it went to theaters or anything, but it's an hour long special that is highly regarded by myself and the internet. $4.
I did get to see Massive Phantasm in theaters like a year ago. It was like his 25th anniversary release, and it was really good. It was really a joy to see it on the big screen. Like it was really cool.
Excellent. Well, sorry for the horrible tangent, but I'm extremely excited. It should be in the mail any day. I'm really jacked up about it.
Okay, so back to
the actual thing that we're supposed to talk about. My bad.
Yeah. So Iroh gets some tea, some of the world famous tea from Ba Sing Se, and it is cold tea. At that same time, Jet is asking Zuko to join his team, and Zuko, he doesn't turn him down like hard. He's just like, "You don't want me on your team." Just him being very honest, right? Like I feel like he was respectful there, and then he just pretty much like, "No, you don't want me." And then Jet notices that tea was cold at one point, and then it was hot. So he is jumping to conclusions here that Iroh is a firebender and
Could have
hence
been an
Zuko is a
airbender.
firebender. It could have been
Could have been a
an
waterbender.
airbender, could have been a waterbender, could have been a lava bender or earthbender.
Yeah, you heat up the cup if the cup has like earth
Yeah, if
minerals
the
in
cup
it.
is
Yeah.
clay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it could have been Jet. You moron. Jet. 20% of people hate you. God.
Or 40.
20 to
We'll
forty
find out.
percent of people hopefully hate you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jet people. It's all right. It's me. It's not him.
I like Jet.
I
Also,
do. Hey,
so
is that in this episode though? Is that in the second episode of this group? I think the
uh
T part on that might be in the next episode. They kind of run together. I
mm,
watched them all at the same time. I wrote it
yeah.
all down at the same time. Whatever. It's continuation. It's continuation of the
No,
exact same
it's this
B
episode.
plot.
It has to be this. Yeah, it has to be this episode. You wrote it down. So anyway, um, so now Jet has some conspiracy theories about them, and he watches them, and I'm commending Jet for that because he's like, the Fire Nation are trying to infiltrate the Earth Kingdom. Like almost, almost feel like that it's always sunny conspiracy theory meme
Mm-hmm.
where he's
I use it
like I
frequently.
feel like that's Jet. Yeah.
And it is
So
pretty
I'm cool.
astute observation in this sense. So, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Back to the gang. They're trying to get through the Serpent's Pass. It is a very narrow land thing that looks like a serpent, but also there's a huge serpent there, so that's also why it's called Serpent
There's an
Pass.
actual dragon that comes out of them. Yeah, that's a bad place for that. Was a spoiler when I showed that previously. But um, this is a sequence that when I take notes about it, it feels really long, but it actually all happens really fast. There is this narrow path that kind of winds through the water, and you're walking along it, but then like there's a certain part where it's gone. So Qatar like bends the water out of the way, and Aang goes through the bubble. Like there's a lot of things I wanted to note, but then when it happens in the episode itself, it's all very quick. And then there's
Yeah.
even like a Fire Nation ship that shows up and starts lobbing bombs and stuff at him too. Like, and it just, I don't know, kind of catches you off guard. You're not prepared for it this time. You're just waiting on what you assume, even as a kid, you're like waiting on a giant sea monster to come out, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
not, but it seems like you kind of are.
Yeah, I do enjoy the fight here because like Katara and Aang tries to fight off the serpent. I really enjoy Katara's bending here. Like she's grown so much. Like she's makes like a quick surfboard and she's just like bending huge, freezing the serpent. That was really cool. And
Like
then
seeing the creativity come out.
yeah, yeah. Before that, she does make like an ice bridge, and Toph does not want to cross it because she can't see. And eventually, Toph gets like pulled into the water, and she can't swim because, of course, she can't swim. And Sokka says, "All right, I'm coming, Toph," and Suki beats him to it, and she saves her. And of course, Toph is like, "Oh, Sokka, you're my hero," and she kisses Suki.
It's pretty cute. And
Yeah,
the basis of a theory, probably from Chris Ford in another YouTube video you should go watch. No, I don't know. I don't even remember if you mentioned that part, but it's cute either way.
yeah. Oh, I mentioned it. Yeah,
Excellent.
and the is Sokka Suyin's father
Yeah.
video.
Go watch it. Tag right up over there, probably.
Yeah, somewhere. Um, yeah, and then I love her reaction of like once Suki says, "Oh, it's me," and then Toph is like, "You can let me drown now." Yeah, I think that's just great. Toph.
Whatever is whatever. Happy accident. It's really cute. On
Yeah.
thinking about Katara, and I'm just sort of musing. I don't really have a point for this. When she's creative, I think that's impressive because surely there's like an element of confidence needed there. Of like, for the surfboard example, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna assume with some confidence that I'm doing it well enough that it's gonna work, and I'm not just gonna be jumping into the water right now. Because like, where else would she have tried that or learned that? Like, that seemed like a sort of gut reaction creative solution, and you got to believe that it's going to work before you make it work. I don't know, maybe, but I think that's why it impresses me, is that's what it feels like. It's more than just creativity. It's like confidence and creativity.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So then they beat the serpent or the Fire Nation. Like, yeah, they throw it. No.
I can't
Anyway,
remember
the
how they
serpent.
dispatched the Fire Nation ship now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just went away.
It was
Anyway,
just strolling
um,
by. Maybe the
they
serpent
beat the
scared it away.
serpent.
Actually, like it strolls on by, and then the serpent pops up, and then the ship
Maybe
kind
that
of
does
gets off
happen
scot
later
free.
on in the series.
I can't
Something
really
like that happens
picture it
later
now,
on.
but anyway, nothing bad happens from the Fire
But
Nation ship.
yeah, they beat the serpent. They cross the serpent's path, but things still aren't done. The lady's about to have a baby. Tara delivers the baby, which I think is just some great a little bit of great comedy there of Sokka passing out
Yeah,
and
that was good
everything.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I am just going completely over the Sokka Suki stuff. They do have one really great moment where they have like just a little personal moment um, where Sokka's like, I lost somebody before, which is why he's so protective over Suki. He's been so protective over her in this episode. And then she's like, I lost somebody too. They didn't die, but I met him, some time ago, but only for a couple of days. And Sokka's like, is he taller than me? He's like, it's about your height. Is he better looking than me? He is you dummy. And then they share a moment and they almost kiss, but Sokka can't kiss. And if you look in the background, the moon is right in between them. And it's the moon is Suki, not Suki, the moon is
Yue.
Princess Yue.
Yeah.
Also, the scene works really well because before she gets there, you can see the cloud changing in that scene, and like the cloud moves right over at that point when she gets there. The moon, the brightness from the moon is shining on them. And then later on, after they cross Serpent's Pass, they have another moment of Sokka being like, pretty much kisses her and everything, and they have a nice moment together.
Yeah, Sokka, you play her. It did make me
Oh
mad
yeah,
again when she brought up. She's like, "Yeah, I met him for a couple of days." I was like, "That's right. You guys barely know each other. You monsters. Grow up, kids." God.
I know, right? Like, gosh, people complain about Kurosami.
I... yeah, this is way worse. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's very touching, and I gotta be honest, it's pretty brief in both instances. So I'm not gonna lie, it even slipped my mind here, and obviously I'm taking notes. But cute, impactful. We remember why
Yeah,
we like Suki because she's very strong and active throughout the entire
she
episode.
is. Yeah,
Very glad to have her back.
yeah, for this short period of time. Um, and then they have the child, and there's some great stuff going on with Katara and Aang also. It's kind of like a lot of relationships happening here. Katara notices that Aang is like just void of emotion, and she's like, I don't want you to lose hope and everything. And Aang is just really down this whole episode. He's like, at one point, before they get on the Surface Pass, it says like abandon all hope. Aang says some type of airbending terminology. It's like hope is an illusion, something like that, which is like such a
It's really depressing.
yeah. Um, and then at one point, Katara tries to get Aang to hug her, and he's just like, "Thank you, Katara." He just like leaves. Like he doesn't want. He's so empty right now. He doesn't feel like he can express himself to anybody. But then he goes in there. He sees the baby being born, and he cries. And I love this moment because it's just Aang like realizing like what's important in life and everything. I love that moment. And then he says to him like, you've all, I've been going through a lot of stuff, but you've all made me hopeful." And then the mother's like, I know what I'm naming my child, Hope. So love that moment. And then I love when, um, and then they're all like, hey guys, Aang is like, I gotta go do this thing. They're like, yeah, we all get it. We'll see you in Boxing Set because Aang can move a lot faster than they can, honestly. I just love this moment. Like the music is so great. Like Aang is just flying up the wall of Boxing Say, and like the music is just hitting you so impactful. It's like, yeah, Aang's gonna do it. And then it completely turns to like, oh no, there's the drill. I got to do more stuff now.
It's a shame the drill's in the way too, because it's a pretty epic looking view over the Earth Kingdom landscape, and you're just coming off like a real
Yeah,
emotional high. But then I don't know, it does a really nice job of the drill doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is like instill fear and infuriated frustration. It's an interesting scene. Uh,
yeah.
I think that's pretty much a wrap on
That's
Service
right.
Pass. You want to go to some ratings?
Yeah. Let's go to some ratings. My ratings, audiovisual, gave it 8. I think I just really love the use of the moon. I love the fight with the serpent, and there's a couple other things that I really liked in there. Anyway, that got an 8. Story also got an 8. I really like the thing is some of the story. Um, I feel like the first 15 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, isn't that impactful, but I really enjoy the last part of it. Everything with Aang, everything with Sokka and Suki. Really enjoyed all of that. As for memorable, this is not that memorable of not that memorable of an episode for me. Like, there's not like a moment that I'm just like, oh yeah, that moment. I always gotta watch that moment. Like when I was watching this episode, I was I wasn't that much into it. Like I enjoyed it as I do most Avatar episodes, but it's not that memorable for me. So it gets a 6 out of 10. Brings me to a 7.7 out of 10.
Respectable score. Audio, visual, all the things that you said. I just felt maybe more strongly about them, I guess. Especially, again, I know it's a serpent, but it's a giant water dragon, and that's always positives for me. No, but there's a lot of different scenes and a lot of different great music here and some highs. So even at 8.5, I thought I might be undershooting it a little bit, but 8.5. Story, it's not a great story, but I mean, it's kind of interesting. It stands alone. The side story, the B plot, is not super impactful, but it's entertaining at least. It's an 8. That's good. No high, no low. Memorable, same thing. If you said, hey, Shawn, do you like the Serpent's Pass? There's probably a good chance that I wouldn't really remember the things that happened in the Serpent's Pass, at least without some context. Like, at least without thinking, hey, Appa's gone, and Iroh and Zuko are also on the boat to Ba Sing Se. Like, if you didn't tell me those things, there's an okay chance I probably wouldn't even remember much of what happens in the episode, outside of the lady being like, you're like the 27th thing I've seen today, or whatever she says. Outside of that moment there. So, memorable 7. I honestly maybe a little low on audiovisual, a little high on memorable, but it all weighs out. 7.9 brings us to a respectable 7.8. That seems pretty appropriate, I think.
Yeah.
Nice standalone episode. Nothing spectacular, but I doubt anybody skips it or anything like that.
No, you can't skip it really.
That brings us to the next episode, and this beautiful visage that Aang sees from the top of the walls of Ba Sing Se is called the drill.
So the drill picks up right where the previous episode left off, and pretty much Azula and her gang are trying to penetrate the walls of Ba Sing Se with a big giant electric drill. And so if you go back to the Northern Air Temple episode with the Mechanist or the Machinist, Mechanist, I think the Mechanist.
I would say Machinist. I actually don't know though. It's one of those words I read, but I don't know if I ever had to say out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think you pronounce it either way, but I think they call him the Mechanist. Anyway, you can actually see the blueprints for the drill in that episode.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So he was working on
a cool callback.
Yeah.
So he was doing it. They had to hopefully finish it on their own. You monsters.
Yeah.
Would have been kind of funny if it had like one flaw, or like they only finished like 3/4 of it and they didn't get to the end or something like that.
Yeah, because that same Fire Nation general, who seems to apparently be the Fire Nation general of like technology and stuff or war machines, he was in that episode. He's in this one talking about like, oh, this is a great Fire Nation achievement, and blah blah blah. But yeah, so then Aang goes to the top of the wall and tries to help out the Earth Nation generals, and then he keeps saying like it's called Ba Sing Se, which means the impenetrable city. It's not called Na Sing Se, which is the not impenetrable city. I'm not sure if that's a real translation.
And I love how Aang fires back about Iroh getting in or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but we got rid of him really quick.
Yeah. I like how it was Toph, right?
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't Aang. It was Toph. Oh, this is a good Toph episode here, actually. Yeah, this is a good Toph episode.
Yeah, I think so. Then May and Ty Lee are sent out to take care of the Earth Kingdom soldiers, and they chi block them. and they come back, so they all figure out who's there. Katara figures out that May and Ty Lee are here because that's how they've been chi blocked before as well. Was Jet? Yeah, man, I watched these back to back. You said Freedom Fire, Sea Fire, yeah.
I mean, I
Maybe he was
kind
in
of
this
take the notes as I go, so I think it is in this episode. I think they kind of get off the boat in this episode, and this is where Jet's, because we don't really get a B plot here. You just kind of get that moment, and then some like Jet paranoia afterwards. And now Smellerby's kind of on the other side, where he's like, "Hey, I know I told you not to trust him before, but maybe now you're being stupid." Like the other side, but I kind of take notes chronologically, but I could be mistaken too. It all runs together. There's a reason we're reviewing these episodes together. It's fine.
Yeah. So now Team Avatar is trying to go. I feel like not that much happens in this episode. Like it's just all like action. There's not that much character stuff here.
I want you to finish, but I'm going to build on that point just a little bit.
So pretty much what I just said. There's not that much character moments. There's just a lot of action. The team pretty much goes to the drill and try to take it out. I do love. Were you going to go ahead and build off of that now, or
if you don't mind, just because? So I agree that like not a whole lot of big things happen, but this episode has like it's not a bad thing, or maybe it's not a good thing either. It has a really weird amount of like fine detail in a way that we don't get in other episodes, other than maybe like other Sokka episodes. But I really like how Sokka knows he needs the schematics to try to decide how to take the drill out, because they're convinced that they can't take it out on their own, which I think is stupid. If you have a bunch of earthbenders and the drill is on like wheels or tracks, go ahead and just like point it up.
Well, what was happening was like the way the drill was constructed, like it kept like breaking up the earth, and so like you couldn't earthbend from under it. But anyway,
man, I don't know. I feel like they could have done something, but whatever. They
probably could have done something.
It does build up to the point that like there is a lot of sort of finely crafted detail. Like they break a small piece, so the engineers have to come and they take out the engineers just to get the schematics, and then even how they start dicing all these internal like girders, like support beams and things. But even that, like, I feel like you could have gotten away with just, hey, we do a bunch of these and then the fight moves outside because of other causes. But no, it's actually very intentional of like, hey, this is taking forever trying to water bend and cut up all these girders and stuff. And Aang's like, oh, right, you only have to go halfway and then I'll deliver the final blow from up top. And I guess it's like a lot of detail that wasn't needed, but was, to me, kind of cool that it was in there. It made it feel very finely crafted instead of sort of, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but like it's a kid's show. They could have gotten away with cutting up these girders and then Azula chases them up top and that's where Aang delivers the blow. And like it still would have worked fine. So it does feel like not a lot happens because not a lot does, but a lot of interesting pieces to me that I don't think we always get in such, I keep saying detail. That's the only word I can think of to describe it.
No, I think it's fitting. Also, part of that might be like the previous episode, just got to take up some time.
Yeah, that's true. It's
like, oh, we can't have them solve this issue so fast. So what steps they got to take to get here?
Even little things. Either way, you said, that I didn't even notice, like breaking up the ground so you can't earthbend it from underneath. Like, hey, we got to make this drill a little harder to stop just to take up some time in the episode. But again, just another detailed piece I didn't even pick up on necessarily. So,
in fact, there's a lot of steps. It's like, all right, Earth Kingdom soldiers goes attack, they get attacked. Katara and Aang and Sokka and Toph go in there. Toph can't go in. Toph does go in there, and there's a lot of steps.
And when they're tunneling underneath it, and
yes.
God, I forget how it goes. I'm gonna screw it up. I know I am. But they're tunneling underneath it, and Sokka's like, I can't see anything, and Toph's like, oh no, it must be terrible to not see anything.
This has been some peak Toph comedy.
Yeah, we're getting to good Toph now. We started with bad Toph, but I think we're getting a good Toph.
I think once Aang blamed Toph with Appa getting kidnapped, it was I was completely in Toph's corner at that point. Like she she just be started to come slowly and more and more. Well, even before that, 'cause she had that joke about not being able to that joke about seeing the
Yeah.
library.
Look. Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
yeah,
maybe the Appa thing though is sort of like an emotional investment. Like before, she's part of the team, but she's still an outsider. But now, like an emotional debt of even if she knows she didn't lose Appa, she still probably feels a bit like I lost Appa. So maybe like an emotional corner being turned there
yeah.
of how she's interacting with the team.
The thing is, so I have a head canon theory that I don't think anyone can really disprove. That she does feel at least some blame for that because she couldn't send Ben, right? That was the whole issue. But in the episode, I think Ember Island Players, she makes like that
Great
sandcastle of Ba Sing
episode.
Se, right? She makes the sandcastle of Ba Sing Se, like it's very detailed. It's pretty much like she even makes a little Earth King and a little Bosco. She couldn't do that before, so I think she's been practicing her sand bending because she felt that much guilt. Like now she can master sand bending.
I feel really dumb. I think I know what it means. I just have to confirm. When we use the phrase headcanon, that's you filling in the gaps in your own brain with certain things, right?
That's how I describe headcanon. Of
Okay.
like I don't um, do like to me headcanon is yeah you filling in the gaps with what you think would happen, but it can't contradict things that actually happen in the show. Like I can't be like, oh my headcanon Zutara exists. That's my definition of headcanon. Other people's might be different.
You say I feel like there's like a time for a mandatory, like, hi Jamie.
Yeah.
So it's I'll have to pay closer attention because I know I do things like that. Well, like, hey, maybe this is why that happened, and it's not that it did or didn't happen, but it fits, and it's just what your brain fills in the little gaps there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a word I hear, and I know we've
Yeah.
even used previously. I just never thought to
Yeah.
actually define. But
There
hey,
might
that
be
makes
different
sense. So she's
definitions, but
been practicing
that's
out
my
of guilt
definition.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and she got apparently very good at it. I totally forgot about the sandcastle.
Yeah.
I love that episode though. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. All right, so back to this. So yeah, so the Katara, Sokka, and Aang infiltrate the inside of the drill. They try to take out those pillars, and Sokka is like being annoying because he's not doing any work.
Oh yes, he's just standing behind
Like
Katara, like coaching her.
yeah, yeah, it is, and it's a continuing thing also, which makes it funnier each time. Eventually, they can't. They just try and make like little cuts in each one. That way, Aang can sit down and find a blow from the top. Which just goes to what you were saying before. Of like things. There's a lot of details here, and what I was gonna say is saying that things just keep building on building and building on top of each other. Like they had to get into the drill. They had to cut up all of these little pillars. Then they had to go to the top, and Aang had to deliver a blow. Like it was step by step of things they had to do. In the scenario.
It's a
So
slow build,
then they
but
pretty much
we get a pretty cool ending out of it, so it's cool.
yeah. So then Azula and her gang sees them, and kind of fight ensues. Azula and Aang have a fight, which I really love this fight between the two. It feels really dramatic. And the thing about this episode that I think you could take this episode out of the whole series, and the series would be completely fine without it.
You got to move that bit about the freedom fighters and the fire. You got to move that to the previous episode where we put it, and then you can take this episode out.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
messing. I'm just messing.
But this episode still had a lot of like story weight on it. It was like, all right, if Azula succeeds, she will infiltrate and penetrate the Earth Kingdom. And so, even though this episode is fairly inconsequential, it still feels very dramatic. And this fight between Aang and Azula is a really important one. Like, and they go back and forth on who's really winning the match. Like Azula's very skilled, and I love her firebending in this. And Aang uses earthbending a lot in this episode. She does this one move that reminds me of like a firecracker. Like she jumps over something and she does this spin, and then she like kicks out fire at Aang. I just really love the fight scene here.
2 points.
And
You said it's like inconsequential, and you said it. I'm just trying to develop the thought a little more that like it is inconsequential, but well, you kind of said it, but only because it worked out in favor of the good guys.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like it could have been consequential, it just wasn't. And then
Yeah.
two, I do feel like it was a very good fight scene. I don't know why it feels like Azula is a little off her game in terms of the fight. I don't really know why it feels that way. It's not like we've had a ton of Azula footage to go off of, but we've had some. And it feels like Azula, I don't know if we're just like kind of getting a little closer to insane Azula, or if it just how it played out, or there was no reason for it. It feels like she's a little bit off. I don't know why I felt that way. I was like,
I think
like
I think she's just facing Aang. Like Aang is no slouch,
No,
and
not
he's
at all.
also gotten better at earthbending since then, right? So I think this is just more so Aang being better
Fair enough.
at earthbending. So like if this was Zuko, it would be no fight. She could win it without firebending, probably still. But yeah, Aang is still giving her like he's still the Avatar. He can still bend three of the elements, and he uses them all in this fight.
Maybe it's because we're not too far away from the Zuko alone episode, or
Yeah,
where they like it sort of all four. It doesn't necessarily take all four of them, but like four people fighting off Azula, and so then you get to this episode where he kind of dispatches her on his own. And so like minor detail and not even a complaint or a good or a bad thing. It's just a little surprising when I rewatched.
yeah. Also, there's a lot of luck happening here in Aang's favor.
Yeah, there's some
like,
fortune.
like, like at one point, like Azula has him, and she doesn't do like she is ready to give a death blow. He kind of like wakes up and comes to and blocks it. But then also there comes a time where they're like running at each other or something, where the splash just like hits them both, and like they both like fly off onto the side there. Like Aang is about to fall to his not to death. Anyway, Aang is about to fall. Zula's about to fall, and like Momo comes in a clutch and picks Aang up and helps him. And then finally Aang gets the rock. But yeah, so there's a lot of luck happening. Finally, Aang gets a rock. He already cut like an X into the drill, and he earthbends the rock to be just like a very nice spike. And I really love this moment where
I do too. It's excellent.
It's like I said before, they make this episode feel really epic. Like he runs up the wall and then he chops right back down. Like I love seeing Aang being airbender like this. I feel like even in the series and even in like Legend of Korra, we don't see airbenders as skilled as Aang, especially when it comes to like agility and stuff like that. Like we've seen Tenzin do different techniques, but maybe because Aang is just like so small that things look more like that. But I kind of miss it. Like Aang is a really great airbender.
He is the all-purpose back of avatars. He's good at the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and then he finally comes down on it, and I love how Azula is like trying to beat him to it, and the way her fire blast like just barely misses him, and he comes down, and she just get knocked back like 100 yards. It's a great moment.
I love how like you get the full speed run up the side of the wall. Like it just, I don't know, because I think you know what he's doing the whole time, but there's just an exciting build up. Like, oh, he's building up speed. He's gonna shoot straight down. I don't know. It's very gratifying. His entire strategy to hit his little X marks the spot weak point. That is very gratifying.
Yeah, and then on at the same time, Katara and Sokka are down below trying to like push Katara's water bending the sludge into there. And Sokka's like, "Keep it up, little sister," and she's like, "Oh, would you shut up?" And she just water bends him out of the way. And then, and then Katara. Sometimes Katara could totally be like a jerk. Like Ty
She got
Lee
some
comes
sass
down.
sometimes.
Ty Lee comes down but Katara's like blocking her in there because she's holding another water. She's like, "Ben, block. She blocked me now, circus freak." Like, geez, Katara.
I
Like,
know it's kind of harsh. What is she sensitive about that? I mean, no, she
like
can be sassy sometimes.
she can be. Like, I
Maybe
kind of
that's
just want
like
to
the
make a
motherly
video of
thing of
like,
like like her motherly instincts coming out, like I'm gonna protect my family, and that drives her to be a little extra sometimes, a little hashtag extra.
I kind of just want to make a video of like, those videos of like 3 minutes straight of this person doing this. Like, just want to make a video of like 2 minutes straight of Katara just being a jerk.
All the mean stuff she says to people.
Yeah.
We've
hit
a lot of the good ones. I'm sure there's a few more I'm not forgetting about, but we might have already covered most of the good ones in this podcast.
There's a big one that I can think of in season 3 when she tells Sokka that he didn't love his mother enough.
Yeah. Harsh. And to somebody you like too, that's too much.
Yeah. But anyway,
I just put that last point in there because it's just more Sokka being Sokka.
Yeah. The thing is, like, Team Avatar is a legit name, especially in this series and also in the Net series. I'm not sure if they ever say Team Avatar in the Kyoshi novels or not, but they do. I don't think they say the word Team Avatar. It's sort of obvious
that like she has a team. Like it still fits.
In fact, they make it seem like every Avatar like has a team. Like to be a companion of the Avatar is a great honor.
And some teams let you become Kuruk, and then the Kyoshi novel happens.
Yeah.
Don't let your friends be Kuruk, kids.
Yeah. Oh, but I did find out. So we were saying before how someone, dang it, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He reached out on Twitter to me and you. He actually hasn't. He's listened to the podcast, but he hasn't watched or hasn't read Kyoshi novel. So
I can't recall his name. Hey, thank you for listening, though. I know we sound like jerks, but we totally aren't, I swear. No,
yes,
thank you for listening and for commenting. It's really cool. Not very often if people reached out to us on social mediums like that. So thank you.
It really does make our day.
It does. Just it's cool. Makes me feel famous. I don't know about you, but
well, sometimes you say I'm the objective geek of YouTube fame, and I'm like, no, I'm not, which I'm still not.
Sometimes I say fame, other times I say semi-fame, which
semi-fame. Yeah, even semi-fame is a stretch.
You're famous in my book, and that's all that matters on this podcast, where I control the mouse and keyboard.
For some reason, when you said that, it just reminded me of the end of Remember the Titans, where like Yotes is like, "You're Hall of Fame in my book."
Yes.
They didn't make him into the Hall of Fame because he wouldn't do something terrible against Yotes, I think is his name. Anyway, you're Hall of Fame in my book, coach.
I don't have a good Denzel impression. I wish I did. Right now it's football season, so that's all I want to do is just go. You got your I almost said your Final Fantasy, your fantasy football roster. You got your fantasy football roster set up.
Yeah, had draft Sunday. I forget who's on my team exactly.
I don't think I have any Thursday night players, but I'm still excited.
Matt Ryan on my team, Todd Gurley, Cooper from Cowboys. Who did I draft number 1? It was a wide receiver, I think.
DeAndre?
No.
I'm just saying, because that's what I number 1.
Dang it. Oh, well, I don't remember. But
anyways, tomorrow at 7 o'clock, get it set up.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much the episode.
Each episode has to have one terrible tangent, and this one's football. Hey, I have a headcanon to contribute, because we talked about the word, and now I have a use. Is that, so like this drill seemed like, if Aang and the gang weren't there, that it could have been successful. Like, can you imagine if Azula had actually gotten through the wall? Like, just the havoc that she alone could wreak. And so you have to wonder, like, all right, it's so close, it only didn't work because Aang happened to show up at exactly the right place at exactly the right time. So, like, in my head, there's, like, Fire Nation committee gathering of, like, discussing, like, this drill was a wasted expense of millions of Fire Nation dollars trying to build this technology. And then somebody else being like, but we're like this giant political debate of, no, we were so close. It was going to work. It was just bad luck. Let's just build one more drill. And this time we'll go somewhere where the Avatar isn't. And try it again there. Let's picture all this because I do wonder, like, it seemed like it was going to work, which for such an impenetrable wall for just like one group in this big tank to be able to try to Shrek it, basically, other than Aang. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I'd have probably gone right back to the well on that one and just picked a different spot. But that's just me. That's just me. It seemed like it was going to work. But anyway, I have to imagine the political and financial ramifications of destroying one massive drill were just too much. And that's the stuff that the kids watching the show don't care about. So there's my headcanon contribution for today. The politics of the Fire Nation. Let's get to some ratings before people leave because I talk.
My ratings, audiovisual gets an 8.5. I almost gave it a 9. I feel like I should have gave it a 9. But I don't know, I feel like I saved 9s for really, really good stuff. Which this was like really, 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 really amazing stuff. I give 9s too. You know, this one probably deserves a 9 anyway. 8.5. Yeah. I really enjoyed the fight between Aang and Azula. I thought that was a huge highlight of it. Really enjoyed all the music with it. They built it up so well. Did a great job with the score here. For a story, it gets a 7.5 out of 10, mostly because I think you can take this out and it's be fine. Actually, I could probably give this a 7. So really, everything will probably end up somewhat even though I weigh story more. On to memorable, gets a 7.5. The drill isn't. I feel like the last 5 minutes of this is fairly memorable, but everything before that, I don't know. There's not like a single moment of like, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get that moment. But I do love Azula Aang fight. And gets him to a 7.9 out of 10.
Respectable. Audiovisual 8. I think what this boils down to, all of my ratings and probably yours too, is just it comes down to like 15 minutes of slow build up to 5 minutes of payoff. I'd say the same for audiovisuals. Like most of it leading up to this isn't really that interesting until the end, but still very good. 8, 7.5 story. Same reasons you mentioned. Same concept of you can get most of what you need from this story in the last 5 minutes. And then memorable, I do think of this one a lot. I think of the drill. I think of, I guess, I think we're starting to see like a turning point of sort of crazy Azula. I do think about like just Fire Nation strategies or like what's kept Ba Sing Se up so long. Just all those things. So in a weird way, I do remember this episode probably better than it deserves to be remembered, but not a bad thing. Nice flat 8 rounds out to a very respectable 7.9. In the end, both these episodes are pretty decent quality, both the kind I would recommend. Even if they're, again, either one, you could probably make a case for pluck it out, stick it anywhere. For the most part, you could maybe make it work other than the little Suko Iroh B plot. It is fun that they are in the Earth Kingdom. Like they, in a weird way, they penetrated Ba Sing Se. Finally, those two. And now Azula is trying to penetrate it in like a military sense. I don't know, it's kind of a weird metaphorical parallel there. That's kind of fun. But other than that little side plot, you could probably pluck most of this out and stick it about anywhere, I suppose. That's it. It's pretty good episodes. I'm not sure why they had to be connected other than the B plot running over into the second episode a little bit, but whatever. I'd love to hear the reasons. If anybody knows why it happened, maybe something to do with scheduling or whatever. I have no idea. I'd love to know what got these paired together. And better yet, if you can figure out why it was called The Secrets of the Fire Nation, I would also love to know.
What's it called? Secret? Wait, am I confusing that with the previous one that was called? Was the previous one called Secrets of the Fire Nation?
No, the previous one was The Fury of Aang, which, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you're right.
No, this one was called Secrets of the Fire Nation. Basically everywhere but like my DVDs, and I don't know why there's no secrets of the Fire Nation revealed at all other than a secret drill, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. So hey, Twitter knowledge, Twitterverse, if you know, I'd love to hear. I'd also like to hear in poll form whether or not you hate Jet, but that's we'll build that poll and get clear answers. Chris, any final thoughts on this grouping here? We're kind of coming on the home stretch of the book 2.
These were fairly entertaining episodes. Yeah, they're not my favorite of them, but they have a couple of really great moments. The
second episode of the drill is we get some great. Maybe it's more memorable too because we get some great Sokka and great Toph moments. where the episode before, maybe not so much. You kind of get distracted by Jet and by that B plot and the family of refugees. Hey, the family of refugees shows up in the second episode here in the drill as well. I don't remember what, but it's like Iroh interacts with the baby or something on the street. Or
on the ferry,
on the
thing.
No, it's when they get into Bossing Say. Iroh and Zuko cross paths with the
Well,
family.
they're on a train. They're on a train.
On the train, yeah, and he like
Which
waves
is
at
the
the baby.
ferry,
I kind of forget how it goes, but they show up again.
Wait, no,
which is
ferry's
just,
a boat.
I don't know. It's just a nice.
They do
detail.
show up again later on in the series.
No kidding.
Yep.
Like.
I guess I can tell you. They show up in episode 1 of season 3.
Interesting. I'm sure I'll
'Cause
forget
they do
by
like
that
a
time, so I'm kind of
flashback.
hoping that I remember.
Okay.
I'll be proud of myself. It's just one of those things that's like, maybe there's meaning behind it of creators trying to show like, hey, it's a small world and everybody's human, or maybe it's just a thing of like, hey, we've already got these people created, let's plop those models down there. One or the other. Hopefully a little both.
Yeah, I could see some story-wise things on around that. Like, oh, hey, they represent them trying to leave war and the refugees and everything, but they couldn't escape the Fire Nation no matter how hard they tried.
Yeah,
that's what they're representing in that episode. Like they're showing a flashback of Azula. Like they're in the Fire Nation. Azula and Zuko are returned back heroes. And they do a flashback to Ba Sing Se when they take it over and take down the wall. Like there's a image of that couple with their baby of being like frightened, of like there's nowhere safe to go anymore.
Yeah, well, like I said, just a nice tie-in of like showing how close in proximity everybody is together right now. So yeah, it's kind of a cool tie-in. So next week, I think we will go back to a regular single episode. I believe I'm trying to remember, City of Walls and Secrets, and that one probably deserves its own look, its own take. But we'll probably have something else special tacked in as well. We'll do some other kind of topic add in, and that'll be next Thursdays. I think from here on out, we're going to try recording Wednesday nights, putting out Thursdays around noon. If anybody is like actively waiting for these, that would be very flattered, and you're probably not. But if you are, Thursday on YouTube around noon Central Time. And yeah, we'll give Wednesdays a try for a while on recording. That's really all I got. Chris, thanks for coming and hanging out, as always. Really looking forward to next week's episode. Now that I remember what it is and I'm remembering more about it, I really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to it. Spoiler alert. That's all I got. I say that's all I got. We've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes. As usual, an hour, 20 minutes, about 40 minutes worth of television. That's plenty. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you very much for listening in. Come interact with us on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know how you feel about Jet and the polls, and we will talk to you next week. See you later.